When I think of breast cancer, I think of survival, extended life.
Hope.
Total fear.
I don't think, Kenya, there's really a reason. We looked at family history, we looked at location where I was living, we looked at conditions, looked at diet. I don't think there was any real reason why I was diagnosed other than I was a woman with breasts.
Without good health, you have absolutely nothing. I don't care how rich you are, how wonderful your life is. If you don't have good health, you don't function well anymore.
Most people take their health for granted. So when you're feeling good and feeling healthy, you may not associate that with happiness, but if you started getting sick or were told you had breast cancer, then it would affect the quality of your life. Or people would certainly say that their happiness is affected when they're not healthy. And so health is important for people's overall sense of well-being.
At the time, I was operating a safe and sober house for women that was coming in from a 28-day program. And I was up in the mirror and I was showing them how to do a self-breast exam when I discovered for myself a lump in my breast. It was kind of a panicky situation, but I finished the presentation and then I went downstairs and I got on the phone and I began to talk to my doctor, and he said, come in right away.
80% of all breast cancers start in the milk ducts of the breast. They're the little tubes that take the milk to the baby. They start in there and eventually figure out a way to break out into the surrounding tissue and then potentially can travel. So you can have a very, very healthy person who eats great and exercises all the time and still gets a breast cancer. But in terms of lowering your risk of developing one, exercise, maintaining a healthy weight, limiting alcohol intake, those things are all lifestyle choices and things you can modify.
In general, if you look at African American women compared to white women in the nation and in Chicago, we tend to not be as healthy overall. Now, that may not be the case for, a specific black woman and a specific white woman, but if you look at the numbers and the populations in general, African Americans tend to be less healthy.
Chicago is one of the worst performing cities in terms of the disparities according to breast cancer. So my colleagues and I have published a paper, and in that paper we compared the disparities, the difference between black and white breast cancer mortality rates in the 25 biggest cities in the United States. And among those 25 biggest cities, Chicago was the fourth worst. And black women are almost twice as likely to die from breast cancer as white women.
There are lots and lots of different things that go into that. But one of them certainly is access to health care. And certain groups, especially African Americans, have a higher rate of uninsurance, and they also access, we have data to show that they access often less high quality care. Both of those affect survival.
Black women don't get enough mammography, so they need to get more mammograms, and they need to get them at regular rates. That's one cause. The second is that the quality of mammography is frequently inferior for black women, and so we need to make sure that the quality of those mammograms is higher, so when a cancer is present, the mammogram will detect it as early and as soon as possible when it's small, and then we can treat it effectively.
The University of Illinois did a recent study where they looked at women who were diagnosed with breast cancer, and then they looked at if they had had a mammogram a year before or 2 years before, and they looked at those mammograms, and they often found signs of early breast cancer in the prior mammograms that had been missed. And when they looked at the sort of women who had the highest miss rate, it was poor women, women who are publicly insured, women with less education.
Because I take care of a population of women who are un- or underinsured, what you see is a lot of them come in at much later stages where the cancers are bigger, they've already spread beyond to lymph nodes or to somewhere other part of their body.
If you don't have a good health plan and you don't have access to a car that will get you to your doctor quickly, it is difficult. So many African American women may not go, or they're so busy with their children that they're putting them first and not their health first. And so quite often I think our death rate is higher because they don't diagnose this to us in the later stage.
We still have dual systems of healthcare in this country that's delivered by things around class and race and economics and things like that. And so if you're poor and live in a poor community and don't have good insurance, then which black women are more likely to be, then your ability to, again, get good quality care is less.
Here's the two main impediments to making things better: poverty and racism. And I think there's a lot of both of those in Chicago, and they're both, of course, attacking black women more than any other group of women.
In the last few years, the state of Illinois has had some very significant budget problems. And so when a state has those sort of budget problems, they have to decide on their priorities. We would suggest that they've made some bad choices in how they've allocated resources. And so Governor Quinn last year proposed to cut $3.3 million from the breast and cervical cancer program.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's only one industrialized country in the world that does not have a national health care system, and that country is the United States. And so instead you have a lot of poor people not being able to afford health care. They don't have insurance, they can't get health care, and then, for example, they can't afford to pay for a mammogram.
So for me, I'm a physician, I work at a hospital, so I had really good access to high quality care. And that's not the case for all women in Chicago, in the nation, and particularly for women who look like me. So black women in the city tend to have a harder time navigating the healthcare system and getting good quality care when you compare them to white women.
Knowledge is power. Once you know and understand about this body and how it works and the issues that we as women go through, then we're equipped with information, and that information gives us an opportunity to take control of our own health.
My biggest advice to everybody is be more afraid not to go to the doctor.
There's a lot of fear about cancer and about breast cancer, and there are a lot of myths about it. So first of all, people think all cancer is fatal. If you get cancer, that's it, you're dead, so don't name it. Okay, don't claim it, don't name it. And that is unfortunate, because breast cancer is one of those things where you actually do want to find it before it finds you.
Particularly for women, we tend to be the caregivers of the family, and we'll put needs of our children, put everyone else's needs as a priority, and go to the doctor last ourselves. And so we'll make sure that our kids go to their pediatrician and get their vaccines, or if they have a cold or whatever, but we'll delay our own care, trying to take care of our family's needs.
If you take just what they give you and just, you may not get the best treatment plan, but because you ask questions and you're concerned and you ask about the medicine and they give you the best when you're concerned about yourself.
Keep living. Every time I want to feel sorry for myself, I see somebody out there and I say, you have nothing to complain about. You're out here every day, you're enjoying life. But like I said, you will have the scars, but it doesn't stop you.
Every day is a blessing, Kenya. After having breast cancer, I look at the sky looks bluer. I look at the rain looks wetter. I look at the colors, your red shirt is redder. I look at the grass is greener. I could laugh at things that wasn't funny before. I could eat food and it tastes wonderful. Since then, life just has been a plus. There has been a bonus. A day in the life of breast cancer is a life extended.